Hi, I'm Gunjan Chauhan, and I head up our global ETF capital markets team and strategic partners. I've been in the industry for around 20 years now, and over that period, I've had the opportunity to work in a variety of different ways flexibly around my workplace. I've spent around 5 or 6 years trying different things that have worked at different moments in my life, and I found them all to be incredibly helpful. But it doesn't happen without two-way dialogue with your business, with your team, and with your management. I've worked flexibly by trying a couple of different things. The two instances I can think of are the first time when I thought of a flex arrangement was when I was actually coming back from maternity leave, like perhaps many people do. I was trying to figure out the right way to balance my return to work as well as being able to meet some of the responsibilities that I now had at home, which were new for me. The pathway I took was to try and use something I had found to be helpful for other women that had taken maternity leave at a prior organization. And that was to come back part-time to begin with at my workplace. So I gradually phased back to a full 5-day week. But first I did 2 days a week for the first month, building up to 3 days a week the second month. And then over the third month, I was able to gradually step that up to a 4-day and then eventually a 5-day week. That type of phased approach for me was invaluable in being able to appropriately step back into the workplace and really lean into some of the work I was doing, which I was tremendously excited about, but also didn't feel like there was an abandonment issue that I had personally in leaving my children all of a sudden 5 days a week on an overnight basis. I'm reflecting back on about 5 or 6 years ago in my career when I felt I was working more hours than I should have been, very candidly, and that's for me to own. But I also wanted to take a step back and reflect differently upon where's my space and time to just think about what I'm doing. So I took the approach to think about my working week, which was a standard working week, the 5 days that most of us perhaps do that don't have flex arrangements. But I'd asked to think about that standard working week differently. And I put forward the idea of doing compressed hours and doing a 9 out of 10 days at work, giving me that final 10th day to do a number of other things, recharge, do things in my personal life that I hadn't had the opportunity to do, perhaps working the hours I was working in the core week, and really be ready to kind of go again for the next fortnight. That was one of the best things that I could have done for me, my family, and I think my workplace in putting right the balance between the time I was spending at work and the time I was spending in other areas of my life. And it wasn't something that I would ever have thought of unless a friend had suggested the idea to me, because it was something she had done. So it was only upon really talking about some of the areas that I was finding a challenge and talking about them openly that some of the ideas began to come forward that other people had pursued, which opened my perspective and imagination to suggest the same for myself. And I think that was one of the most important experiences and different experiences of flex that I hadn't previously considered. When I think about what some of the benefits have been working in different types of flex arrangements for me personally, I think it's allowed me to be creative with how I do what I do, not compromising what I'm trying to get in terms of the outcome or the results, but being more balanced and being more flexible has really allowed me to have more autonomy on the how I do what I do. And that's felt really special and important for me personally, to be able to feel as though I have a little bit more control on the time I'm spending doing the things in other areas of my life, whilst not compromising some of the outcomes that I'm seeking professionally. I think that's also dovetailed into perhaps equally as positive impacts and outcomes for the firms that I've had the opportunity to work for with those flex arrangements in place, because it's given them the best of me. I've been recharged, I felt more focused, and I felt more in control to be able to really do my best work and bring my whole self to work in the times that I'm working. And that I don't think would have happened if I hadn't have been afforded the opportunity and raised my voice with the ask of exploring flexible working opportunities.